Hi guys, my name is Emily Easton and I work for Four Oaks Family Connections as the recruitment coordinator in the Des Moines service area. And you may have seen some of these resource videos before, but we're talking to different people that want to share about resources and programs that are available to foster families. This morning we have Casey Dettbarn and she's going to talk to us about the STAR program. Casey, can you tell us a little bit about your role with the STAR program?
Absolutely. Hi, I'm Casey Dettbarn. I am the support specialist specifically for STAR families. And STAR started in 2014. We are a contract with Juvenile Court Services. So how that makes us different is we don't go by service areas, we go by judicial districts. So our contract serves the 1st, 6th, and 7th judicial district. So that's 22 counties. When our program first started, we were looking at having 12 foster homes specifically to take STAR referrals. STAR stands for Steps to Adult Readiness, and it's designed for kids that are looking at being in foster placement anywhere from 6 to 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be longer, it can be shorter. There are times where the youth will stay in the STAR portion for 6 to 9 months and then stay in the same home and kind of step down as just a regular foster placement. Our goal in that Steps to Adult Readiness is to have the family basically becomes a life skill coach to these teens and helps to guide them and teach them pro-social behaviors to keep them out of future involvement with the criminal justice system. So basically, if a kid is deemed appropriate for STAR, the juvenile court officer will contact me and fill out a referral packet and provide me different reports, whether it's from the court or if they've been in any treatment facilities, any additional information that would be important for me to know, for the families to know. And then I go about in matching, like, okay, which home would be a good fit for this kid? And then I send it on to the family. If they have additional questions, they can talk directly to the juvenile court officer or talk with me. And then we hopefully, ideally, can set up a couple of in-person meetings or phone calls so that, you know, families have a chance to explain kind of how their home runs, who else is living in the home, are there other placements there, how do you think they would mesh, things like that. The ideal family to be a STAR family is going to be someone who has the ability to not only teach and guide these kids, but also hold them accountable if they're testing limits, if you find them slipping into old behaviors. A good mix of the assertive, holding them accountable, but also nurturing and teaching. That's kind of the ideal fit for our program. We have right now, you can take up to 2 STAR kids at one point in time. If you're licensed for more, say you're licensed for 3, you can still take that 3rd one as a regular placement, but maximum of 2 STAR. Okay. But also, if you are a STAR, if you saying yes and you sign up that I want to have STAR beds, you don't have to save them for just STAR referrals.
Okay.
So like say a sibling set came along of 3 and you have 3 openings, you could accept that sibling set we don't expect you to hold the beds for STAR.
Right. So it sounds like any foster family that's interested in taking Star Kids would continue their license just as normal,
Yes.
and then they would just have the additional ability to have Star Kids come into their home up to 2.
Yes.
Okay.
So if a family was interested, our first thing that we would do is staff it with the juvenile court chiefs, whoever their licensing worker is, and then also whoever the DHS person for that service area is, just so that everybody's on board and everybody knows that, you know, this family is potentially going to take STAR referrals.
Okay.
They do have additional training
Mhm.
to get started, and that's mainly in areas of like anger management, like how to teach these kids to refocus their anger, maybe.
Mhm.
Things like specifically to the juvenile court system, how it works,
Mhm.
and things that they would need to be aware of
Sure.
if they don't have a lot of familiarity with it already. And from there, it is a 4 times a year, we will meet all of the families together and do a training, a group training. And for that, we try to make it as easy and painless as possible. We try to keep it new information, keep it fun. We provide breakfast and lunch for the families. Anybody that's traveling outside of the Cedar Rapids area to Cedar Rapids, we give gas cards, and we try to provide daycare. COVID has kind of put a kibosh on that, but normally we provide daycare too. So if there's any littler ones, try to eliminate any barriers so that it's makes training not so bad.
Well, yeah, yeah. So just kind of in summary, what I'm hearing you say is that kids that are referred to the STAR program are already in foster care, but they've had some interactions with juvenile court, and then they would get re-referred to a STAR family. Is that correct?
Not necessarily. Sometimes they've already been in foster care.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes they've never been in foster care. Maybe they're still at home, or maybe they're sitting in shelter and
Okay.
they need a foster placement. But some, I mean, honestly, when a lot of families hear teenager, they're like, oh, we don't want to take a teenager. Then they hear, you know, oh, juvenile court's involved. They're on probation too. Like, but a lot of these kids are like the kids they were already taking. They just happen to get a charge for something.
Mhm.
Um, it's not necessarily, and the great thing is you always know what you're getting into, because I try to provide more information maybe than families even want or need, but I want you to know exactly what you're getting into so that the placement is successful.
Right.
I don't want to set the kid up for failure. I don't want to set the family up for failure. I want it to be smooth sailing.
Right, right. Yeah. And so as a foster parent myself, I've worked with juvenile court at times, and I found that it was actually really helpful to have someone else on my team to
Mhm.
help manage behaviors and to bounce things off and to provide the kids that were in my care, they were able to get some classes and some education and stuff through that I found was really helpful. And so what sounds kind of intimidating at first might not actually be realistic, or reality might not exactly match up with what you initially think about when you hear kids that have been involved with juvenile court. And so it sounds like you're kind of educating families, helping them get a realistic picture of what that looks like, getting them the tools they need to meet the needs of kids in the STAR program.
That's exactly what we try to do. And the feedback from families is they really do like that additional support that juvenile court provides.
Mhm.
Some of these kids know, like, if they don't behave, then they're, looking at a long-term placement, and like they don't want that. They want to stay in the community. They want to stay in a family.
Right.
And I'm going to say the majority do a much better in that setting than like a locked facility or something.
Sure.
So,
Right. Yep. I mean, studies show that kids thrive in a family much more, even if that can't be their birth family. And so that's definitely something that I'm glad that you guys are working towards for those youth in care. Um, yeah. So if there is a foster family that is learning about the STAR program for the first time, first of all, my question is, you mentioned that you're in some counties but not others. What areas is the STAR program operating in currently? Would be, an important thing for our families to know.
so if we have judicial districts, which is something that is a juvenile court thing, and some of the judicial districts are like half of service areas.
Okay, sure.
So the first, sixth, and seventh judicial districts are what our area for taking kids and referrals are. We can have STAR homes outside of those judicial districts, but the referrals for the youth only come from those districts and those counties.
Okay.
So currently we have homes, STAR homes in Olwine, Manchester, Cedar Rapids, Muscatine, and we are currently recruiting heavily in like the Dubuque, Davenport area, Waterloo and surrounding areas, and Iowa City, North Liberty, like Johnson County,
Yeah.
just because we'd like to have more of a, most of our homes are located in Cedar Rapids. We've just had better luck in getting homes there and maintaining them, and they've been very successful in working with kids. Some of our referrals are specific, like they want to be in a city
Mm-hmm.
because maybe the kid is almost 18 and they need to be in a where they can use public transportation and have a job set up or get set up with a college situation, their own apartment. It's a lot easier to do that type of stuff in a city versus a more rural area.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, basically that whole circle we're recruiting in, but specific areas more heavily.
Yeah. And if a family wants to get connected with the STAR program, they're interested in getting involved, what would be the next step or the first step to doing that?
They can reach out to me either by email or calling me directly. My number is 319-521-1076. And my email address, you're going to put in the.
We'll put it in the video description
Yeah,
note. Yep.
perfect. It'll
Yeah.
be easier than trying to spell it out.
Sure. Yep. Okay, awesome. So you're that contact, that first point
Yes.
of contact for anyone who's interested. So yeah, that's a huge need. We want to make sure that we are supporting all the youth and teens in care. And it sounds like the STAR program offers tons of support to make that happen. So anything else that we haven't covered that you want to share with our foster families?
I don't think so, but I mean, even if, I guess if anybody is interested and they want to reach out, and then I can meet with them one-on-one to give them more information, give them some information sheets or our handbook so they can go through it, and get all of the information.
Sure. Yeah.
Then don't hesitate, reach out.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you, Casey, so much for being with us today. And thanks for telling us about this awesome program. Appreciate it.